So then people do that because they're so motivated. They do it for 3 weeks, then the motivation stops and reduces because work gets busy, life gets in the way, children get sick. So then what is left? What is left is a lack of discipline. So if we are not disciplined, the old routine will come back in. We will slip out of the training. We will get the convenience again. So the first step is actually taking it very basic and going, okay, what do I want to achieve? This is where I want to be, but what's actually very realistic for me right now?
How do you stay fit and healthy in a world that is just full of distractions? In this episode, I chat with health and fitness expert Elliot White about the key to sustainable health and fitness. We break down how to build discipline, find your why, and make simple changes that actually stick. Welcome to Move Your Mind, where we uncover why you are holding yourself back from getting the life you want and what to do about it. With the help from high-achieving guests and experts in behavioural science, personal development, and the health and wellness space. Join us if you're ready to move out of your own way toward your ideal self. I'm your host, Nick Brax, and I've been working in the health and wellness space for the last 15 years, helping people find direction and gain the courage to take control of their life. My mission is simple: to help you learn everything that I wish I knew so you can become your ideal self. Lacking guidance, I spent the majority of my youth feeling lost and disempowered, which led to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and substance abuse. Looking back, I didn't have the vocabulary to communicate what I was experiencing. And as a man, I didn't resonate with the emotional language used in traditional therapy. I didn't need to talk about my feelings. I needed tangible solutions to guide me toward building a life I was proud of. If you can relate, then this podcast is for you. In this episode, we discuss how to stay healthy and fit in a world full of distractions. If you're ready to take action and build a stronger mindset, then keep listening. Elliot, thank you so much for making the time to come for round 2 on the podcast. It's been probably, a year and a half? So either way, we're long overdue for a catch-up, mate. So I'm glad you've been able to come on.
No, absolute pleasure to be here, Nick. It's great to connect. I know we've been catching up small amounts in that 18-month period, and we had an amazing conversation back then. And I know and trust that this will add even more value to your audience. So it's a pleasure to be back here a second time round.
100%, mate. Yeah, and that's, I guess, we stayed in touch since that first conversation, and so many overlaps, I guess, in both of our journeys in very different ways, and loved being able to connect with you on that. And yeah, so much to talk about. So we did in the first episode have you share your story, but I'm going to, ask you to do that again, just so we can, for anyone new listening to it. So can you give just, a background on yourself and how you came to be where you are now?
Yeah, of course. So obviously you can tell by my accent, I am an English speaking person. So from the UK originally, but I'm currently residing in Australia and Gold Coast, Australia, which we will get to how I did get there. But what I'm currently doing and what I started when I was a young boy of 19 years old, a little bit older now with a few grays and a little bit more life experience. I started as a personal trainer, and the reason for that was to truly help people make a positive change in life. And I really, at that time in life, didn't know how that would happen and what it looked like. I just had this passion to be on the gym floor and helping people. So when I was 19, I started as a PT, and I started Fitness First in Manchester. So big city, up in the big smoke, from a young lad that wasn't from a city at all. So on the gym floor with 15 other personal trainers, and really you were fighting for space on the gym floor, and you were going up to clients and asking them, do they want a free personal training session to build your diary? So lots of life lessons during that time, and lots of discomfort as a young boy. But I built my diary up to 40, 50 hours of personal training. And I think the reason why I did it was just because the passion and the smile on my face. If a look back at some of those personal training sessions back then, I would be horrified at what I was prescribing people, but we had a lot of fun and people still got great results. So after about 18 months of working at Fitness First, I quickly realized that the gym floor or a big box gym wasn't really the place for me. And I wanted a little bit more of a higher level, a little bit more exclusivity and luxury. So I moved to Cheshire, which is a very posh part of the world and where a lot of money is in the UK. And for 4 years there, I trained the best of the best. So the top CEOs, footballers' wives, and everybody else in between. But most importantly, during that time, I had some incredible mentors to show me what true and incredible training was like, the most perfect nutrition plans and nutrition guidance for every single individual, so customized, not just one size fits all. And then most importantly, when they walk into the facility, they are number one. So how to deliver 5-star service and give them exactly what they need in that moment. But then when they do leave the facility, how to keep them accountable daily to their routine, as they are very high performing individuals. So that experience during my time in Cheshire was a life-changing experience, and it put me on a trajectory for where I am now. And again, we will get to that. So that was a beautiful experience in my life, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And then I met my girlfriend, who is my wife at the time, my wife now in Cheshire, and we both said to each other, we want to take on a new adventure and take the big leap over to Australia. So we made the move in 6 months, and we made a big jump to the Gold Coast in Australia. I got sponsored by a personal training studio in Southport, Gold Coast, which is, again, one of the most exclusive personal training studios on the coast. And also it's part of the biggest network of personal training studios in Australia as well. So I managed that studio for 5.5 years. And during that time, I would say, let's just say I brought over the class and expertise of Cheshire of how to, one, get absolutely incredible results in training and nutrition, but two, the 5-star impeccable service when they come into the facility, and also the accountability that's provided outside of that. During my time at Vision, I won Queensland Personal Trainer of the Year in 2018 and 2019, and I won International Personal Trainer of the Year in 2019 across Australia and New Zealand. So to achieve an accolade like that, you needed the highest hours, the best retention all year round, and then of course achieving absolutely incredible client results. So I was grateful to be a part of that journey at Vision for 6 years. And then over the past year, I have been building my own online coaching business. So this is where I've landed right now. I did see that there is a bit of a gap in the market at the moment with the whole globe, and we maybe might touch on a couple of these points. So unfortunately, the globe of health and fitness and mental health is in a very poor position. We've got 75% of people are obese, unfortunately, and we've got a high percentage of that being children, which is very, very confronting. It's not just adults, it's now growing into children. So I was like, why is this actually happening? We've got more personal training, more gyms, more online coaches, we've got Google, we've got social media, and we still have an incredibly unhealthy world. So the business idea and the online coaching company that I launched is called Fitness Concierge. So it is, if you could imagine going to a Ritz-Carlton or a 5-star hotel, and you have a concierge for your weekend, and they book your restaurants, they leave towels on your lounge, they listen to the little things that you need and make your holiday and make your weekend absolutely incredible. Fitness concierge is exactly the same, but at an affordable cost. So it is a concierge to meet all of your fitness needs in accountability and motivation and habit building, and of course, expert training and nutrition plans. It's that person that everybody needs. They need that little person on the shoulder saying, "Oh, maybe don't have that, or maybe have this instead," when the distraction of the world is in place. So it is to get people phenomenal results, mostly in fat loss. But most importantly, what is unfortunately not out there is how to sustain those results for life. We have lots of quick fixes. We have lots of challenges, how to get quick results. This is a challenge of how to get 10, 15 kilos off, but there is nobody talking about how to actually sustain that, how to maintain that, how to thrive for the rest of your life. And this is what Fitness Concierge is all about. And then, yeah, that's currently what I'm doing. But during my time at Australia, I also have had a beautiful baby boy who is now 2.5 years old. He would have been 1 when we spoke. So he's called Wild, and we had him with my incredible wife, Catrice. And we've now had a beautiful daughter who is now 10 months old today, and she's called Star. So we've got a little army. They're going to be 2 Aussies with 2 English parents, and there is nothing wrong with that because we absolutely love Australia. But yeah, they're my why, they're my purpose, as well as helping people. They're the big driver for me to continue to thrive in life as well.
I love that, mate. And yeah, congratulations. I think we hadn't spoken we haven't met in person. I was going to say we haven't spoken in person, but we hadn't spoken properly since you had the second kid. So congratulations on all of that. And
Thank you very much.
So good to hear that you guys are happy and going well, and good to reconnect. But yeah, thank you for sharing that story. And what's really stands out from what you were saying there is, obesity levels at whatever you said, 70 to 80% globally. Yet fitness has never been more talked about. There's gyms everywhere. There's information everywhere. So why is it so drastically high when there's so many options out there? What's happening there?
No, it's a great question, and this is the 2 biggest problems in the world right now, in this fast-moving world. It's a very fast-moving world, as we all know, fast-paced, lots of distraction. But the 2 problems, one is our nutrition that is being given, marketed, prescribed by food companies, by the government, by the news. And then also it is the distraction that takes control, if we choose, takes control of our mental health and the choices that we actually make. So if we rewind 50 years ago, in the 70s, maybe even in the 60s, when everything started to go absolutely boom. So we went from natural produce to convenience. So as the world population grew, we became more looking for convenience, for quick fixes in foods, in fast foods. And we actually didn't know when these companies were brought out. Like McDonald's used to be very, very popular. It used to be, the in place to go. Not naming McDonald's as the main one. There are multiple, but that was the biggest one 50 years ago. So we then unfortunately started to pick convenience. And if we go round a supermarket in this modern day, any supermarket across the globe, if you do not stick towards the outside, you are looking at 80% of that produce full of additives, full of processed foods, full of preservatives and seed oils, which is actually causing inflammation on our body, which is a big, big issue. Okay. And it's also massively uneducated for what's out there. So the food companies that are in that 80%, we look on the front and it looks like a great product. It's low sugar, it's high fiber, it's high protein, low fat. So people go, wow, this is absolutely amazing. It's only if you're actually an expert and you look on the back of that and you go, oh, wow, this isn't good. And this is what our children are being fed, and then adults are being fed because we are uneducated about it. So first of all, because convenience is cheap, it's actually more expensive to eat healthy produce. And because the cost of living is obviously going up in this world, people are choosing convenience. And we have both parents working incredibly hard, and we have children in childcare, which isn't a problem. But what that is making everyone choose is the lower cost foods full of additives, preservatives, and that are highly processed, that are quick to make. And then it's making our children unhealthy as well as ourselves. So that is the main driver for, let's say, obesity. But then the next part is the distraction of the world that we're actually in. So the distraction and the fast-paced world that we live in is causing the whole globe, or a high percentage of the globe, to have a lack of discipline. So if we are lacking in discipline, then it's very easy for us to make the easy choices, which is the fast food, which is to sleep in the morning, which is to drink alcohol, which is to overeat, which is to not go to the gym, not go for that walk, not choose better. And if we ask every single one of those 70% of the globe, would you like to be healthier? I can guarantee every single person will say yes. So the question is, what is stopping them? What's stopping them? It is distraction. It's social media. It's comparison. It's the news that's driving people into a poor state of mental health, that is causing them to be distracted in all of the dopamine that's actually available. When 50 years ago, there was no screens, no phones, not as much news, and then, of course, not as much convenience. So we have evolved incredibly fast, and it's actually not great for the health of humanity. So there's the two big problems. What do you think
makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We're laughing, but it's so true, isn't it? I mean, it's like things have evolved at such a rapid pace, and yes, there's a lot of positive that comes out of it. You know, the fact that the two of us can be on other sides of the world having this conversation, connecting, putting this message out to people. You know, there's so many positive things that come out of it, but just so many negatives. And you know, we all battle this. I battle this on a daily basis, not getting overwhelmed, not getting sucked into the vortex of being on social media, scrolling, looking at things, distracting yourself. You know, it's so hard not to get sucked into all of these distractions and to keep a routine amongst it all. You know, it's just so easy to get swept up into. So what would you say to, well, you know, what can people do to try and become more disciplined with that?
Yeah, great question. I think the first.
If you're looking to make a change, to lose weight, to get toned, to gain self-confidence, all in just 24 minutes a day, then go no further. You can check out the Move Your Mind community by going to nickbrax.start.page.
The first part to it, because you know, to practice discipline, it's discipline in the choices that you make in every aspect of life. So yes, there's food. And then, yes, there's waking up early. Yes, there's getting up on your alarm. There is not choosing to drink as much alcohol. There is, you know, there's so many, like not going on social media as much. But most people would be very unaware that they are lacking in discipline because they are actually so distracted. So the first step is I am choosing to practice more discipline. If I want this goal, so labeling the goals that they actually want, and if we stick towards health and it's a 5 or 10 kilo or 10 pound in weight loss, and then I want to feel healthier, I want to feel more energetic, I want to thrive for my kids, I want to be a better role model. So that's the goal. Okay, what do I actually need to do to get there? And what most people do, and this is what I used to do, is be all or nothing. So be like, right, that's it. I'll go to the gym 5 times a week. I will literally throw everything out in my cupboard. I will food prep on a Sunday, and I'm going to food prep 14 meals in a row. This is just so unrealistic. Like, it's so unrealistic. So then people do that because they're so motivated. They do it for 3 weeks. Then the motivation stops and reduces because work gets busy, life gets in the way, children get sick. So then what is left? What is left is a lack of discipline. So if we are not disciplined, the old routine will come back in. We will slip out of the training. We will get the convenience again. So the first step is actually taking it very basic and going, okay, what do I want to achieve? This is where I want to be, but what's actually very realistic for me right now? And that might be 2 training sessions. And then if we actually 2 training sessions in a week, it might be less time on my phone. So I'm going to time the amount of phone that contact with phone and tablets and everything like that, and reduce that by an extra 30 minutes a day. But during that 30 minutes, I'm going to take myself for a walk. And then with my nutrition, I'm going to actually keep it the same, but I'm going to bring in more greens, more salads, a little bit more protein, and maybe just one more home cooked meal a week, or one less processed meal or food. So it's taking it step by step at a time. Now, that might sound very basic and very easy for like, oh wow, well that doesn't even sound like that much. 2 gym sessions, couple of walks, and then some salad and greens. But your distractions will challenge you, and they'll go, do you really want this? And your kids will get sick, and then you'll have a terrible sleep. And work will give you an extra few days where you've got to finish a project. So you will get tired. You will get stressed. You will get then distracted. And that's where you would usually go, you know what? Sod it. I'm just going to scrap it all, because you've chosen the all or nothing route. But if you go, actually, I've already done 1 session on a Monday. Maybe I don't have to go to the gym today, and tomorrow I'll make sure that I finish that project, or when the kids get a little bit better, I'll just do those non-negotiables. So if the non-negotiables are basic and smaller than normal at first, this is how any individual can practice discipline. And discipline is showing up at the times when you actually don't want to, showing up at the times when you are stressed, and showing yourself what you are capable of. And unfortunately, we overestimate that, and we go the all or nothing approach. Whereas if we start off simple, we start off basic, or an individual does that, that's exactly the step by step to go, oh, actually, I've been doing this now for 6 weeks. Maybe I can add in 1 more gym session. I actually got up earlier the other week and I did that gym session. I feel more confident. I feel more capable. I feel more resilient now, which is what it takes to actually build discipline. And there was a few years in my life that I struggled with that, because I was all or nothing. And that was as a personal trainer. So if a PT is struggling with it, 6, 7 years into his career, every single individual does as well, because we are humans.
100%. And it is. I think all of us can relate to what you're talking about there. And for me, fitness is the one thing in my life that for a long time it's been constant like that, because I've done it for my whole life, and it became that thing where it was, over time just so embedded where I would just do it no matter what, and it becomes a regulator for me and keeps me grounded. But it couldn't have happened if I didn't, build that routine and have it so embedded. And you see it in every area. I've had that experience when I've started different businesses, and you go all in at the beginning, and then the dopamine and the novelty wears off, reality sets in, and then it's really hard to stick to it. So it's, it's like it can happen in so many different parts of life, and we really do need to be aware of it. And it's just so difficult because we can find it kind of boring to be like, okay, I'm just going to do 2 sessions a week, and have some greens, whatever you were saying there. Make it simple until I embed that. People want results fast, so they're thinking, well, that's not exciting. I'm not going to lose enough weight, or whatever your goal is, in a short enough amount of time. And we're all wanting to see that. Whereas if we can just step back a little bit, it's almost, going backwards so we can go forwards. And you'll start, once you start seeing the results, they become pretty rapid, they compound. But it's being able to do that. And I was talking to my girlfriend about this today, and I guess like the concept of, the people that we've seen who achieve in whatever industry it is, it's always about working hard and grinding and all these different things. But I think our concept of what hard work is versus what it actually involves is very different. It's not actually sitting there and it being chaos all day, every day. Hard work is doing the boring things, having the discipline to show up and do it over and over and over again when you don't feel like it. Doesn't mean you might not be doing crazy amounts of things every day, but just being consistent. If we can do that, then you get the result.
Yeah, 100%. And just to add to that, there's two parts to it. So first, if you have a strong enough why to get out of bed every morning and action those things, then that is absolutely essential. So it's solidifying the why, but then also in the world of distraction, if we go a little bit deeper to that, we live in that world, or we can live in that world of social media, where if you're doing 2 sessions a week, and then you look at someone that's just ran across Australia running 98 Ks a day, you feel like a piece of shit, right? You're like, great, my gym sessions look terrible.
What's wrong with me? Yeah.
Someone just swam around Great Britain, or I'm watching a fitness influencer lift 150 kilos, or I just feel horrendous. So the most important part is staying in your own lane. And if it temporarily means that you unfollow these people and or stop Instagram because you just need to focus on yourself and your own lane, because you won't actually be aware, or an individual wouldn't be aware, when they watch these very inspiring people raising money for charity and doing incredible workouts and doing massive endurance events, or simply showing up at the gym every day looking phenomenal, looking shredded and showing the workout, that actually may make you feel less than in that moment. So then that might actually add a little bit of extra, let's say just a little bit more weight to you not showing up for yourself that day, because you're like, oh, well, it's pointless. That person's doing this. So my gym session is nothing. My 30-minute walk is nothing. So at first, stay in your own lane, limit the distractions, and try and avoid watching any person that isn't actually inspiring you. If they're making you feel less than, definitely eliminate them for 3, 6, 12 months until you have built that resilience and discipline over motivation. And then the second part to that is, why do you want to achieve it? For me, it's my children, like being a absolute role model for them. Like children, they do not do what you say, unfortunately. They do what you do. And I've noticed this. My little boy is nearly 3 years old now, and he literally mimics absolutely everything that I do. So sometimes that is confronting because I am not a perfect human, and I'm like, oh God, I maybe need to stop that one. I maybe need to not do that. But the reason why I show up every single day, and the reason why I eat healthy every single day, and the reason why I do what I do and I work hard, is because he and my daughter is watching every single step of that. So they are the why for me. So the question for any listeners is, what is your why? What is it that's going to make you get out of bed in the morning? Why is it that you want to be a better person? What is the main driver behind that? Who is watching you? Who will you influence? They are the questions that you want to be asking, because when you are stressed, when you have distractions, when you do not want to, when it's raining, when it's cold, whatever excuse we can find, and there's thousands, that is the question that you will ask. Who do I want to, and why do I want to achieve this? Who do I want to become? That's the big one.
I love that. I love that answer, mate. No, so many really relevant points in there, and it all makes so much sense, finding that why, that meaning behind what we're doing, because motivation just won't be enough to go off. It needs to have that deeper reason. What at the core are we doing it for? And I love your other example about, because often we can look to different people for motivation, but which can be great, but if it's having that negative effect, don't sort of shame yourself about it. Don't feel bad about that. Just observe it and think, okay, well, maybe I need to not look at that for now. And I know for myself, I grew up wanting to be a professional athlete, and I love sport. Tennis is my favorite sport, but sometimes I'll be watching, a Grand Slam event, and I'll start feeling sad, thinking, hang on, I wish my life was like this. How exciting would that be if you could travel the world, playing in front of these crowds? What have I done wrong in my life? I wish I achieved that. And then I'm thinking, hang on, I'm happy with my life, but like it takes you out of that gratitude and you're comparing, and we can all do it in so many different ways, I think. So we live in a world now of comparison. So it's really important to be aware of that.
For sure. Completely agree.
So how's the transition for you been from, you're saying now in more recent times you're moving into the online coaching, you started out doing in person. How's that transition been for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like
Are you interested in joining a community of like-minded people who are on the same journey as you are? Even though you're the one that needs to do the work, you don't have to go it alone. You can find all of the information at nickbrax.start.page.
it's been very, very easy. Very easy
Yeah.
would be the word, because yes, there is an in-person connection when you're taking someone through a workout, of course. What I found was the when you're with someone, let's say you're with someone for 45 minutes twice a week, there's 168 hours in the week, right? So you leave that person to make choices for the 166 and a half hours left out of the 40, 90 minutes that you're with them. So the impact that I was having was when I was keeping people accountable. It is checking in on them twice a day, 3 times a day, or once every 2 days, whatever it is that they asked for, that they needed, which is where the concierge came in. So that's where it felt very seamless. Nothing actually changed. Yes, it's great to have in-person connection, but the connection is actually made throughout that 7 days, throughout that 168 hours of checking in on every single part of their life. So it's not just, hey, how's your food been? Hey, have you been for a walk? It's asking about all of the personal stuff as well, because that is the thing that makes the biggest difference. And when we do make the choices in health and fitness, every single pillar of our life usually does have a ripple effect as well. So a very easy transition. And the most important part for me is the connection that I have with the individuals that I worked with. So it's not just here's a training plan and here's your nutrition. The connection is the most important part. Like I said, it's that friend. And a friend, if you've got a best friend, you would know they are there for you and they give you the best advice, but they also hold you to a very high standard whenever that is needed. So yes, I am the biggest supporter and the motivator, and I will guide them and support them and high five them. But also when they are, let's say, the discipline isn't there, that's where I come in, and that's where the concierge gets them back on track so much quicker than if they were on their own.
Yeah, I love that. So would that be the key, the core reason to why, in general, with what we were talking about earlier, people, we've got all these health problems, even when people are trying their best, or if they're, training in person a couple of times a week with someone, the in between, the lack of, accountability, all of those sort of areas, not having that guidance, is that the part that you feel like is helping people to form that, longer term sustainability?
Yes, I mean it definitely plays a big
Big part of
part.
it.
So
Yeah.
I mean the reason why people aren't doing the actions that they should is because of obviously the lack of discipline. So if you're an individual and over the past 10 years, let's say you have been all or nothing, and let's say you have yo-yoed and you've gained 5, lost 10, gained 10, lost 15, and you've been up and down for a lot of your life. That also is all or nothing, and it's not fully sustaining. You know how to get there, but then you don't actually sustain it for life. If you can afford a coach, and it's not a big investment, it is a small investment. If you can afford a coach, get a coach that is going to keep you accountable. Get a coach that is going to do those check-ins if you are aware that you have a lack of discipline. And this doesn't mean that this person is going to be in your corner for the rest of your life. This person is going to show you what you are made of. This person will show you how to build self-confidence. So then maybe in 12 months time, you go, wow, I have transformed my life. So you have practiced the discipline, not the coach. The coach didn't give you discipline. They can still reach out to you every single day, and you can still sleep in and not do the workouts. It would be a tough journey, but you can still do that, of course. But what you will prove to yourself along the way with that extra accountability is you can do it. You can show up when it's raining. You can show up when you're tired and stressed. So then after 6 to 12 months, that is where you go, wow, I have changed everything. And I know that I can do this on my own now. So you don't need a coach for the rest of your life. But yes, I would definitely say having one will solve a big problem. But they still have to make the choices. They still have to want it. They still have to believe in themselves to get out of bed. Because a lot of people have coaches and some people still don't do it. And that's obviously another conversation, of course.
Exactly. You're going to have to be willing to actually put in the work and still do what it takes to get the result. You can't just have someone, being there to guide you through it, but not take the steps. So it goes both ways to do that. That makes sense. Is there, for what you're doing, is there a sweet spot of how many people you can sort of work with at once, and how you manage being able to give them that level of service while, growing your business as well?
Yeah, the sweet spot for me is 40 individuals, and I'm not quite there yet. But once I am, then the next part is then bringing on another coach. So finding another coach with the same passion, same expertise, to be able to guide more clients globally, and that's the opportunity. It's a global impact, which is the goal. So having those coaches to be able to provide the same level of service of the fitness concierge values, to have that ripple effect and impact. And the key is, it's not just the one person that we get results with. That person will then influence the next 5. So it might be their children, it might be their partner, it might be their friends. So it's actually a bigger ripple effect. If I get to 40, or when I get to 40, they will affect 100, and then those people will affect then 150, and then the next coach. And just like you, Nick, everything that you're doing, it's if we can all come together and change the trajectory and do the right education, hopefully we'll start to turn the tables of this obesity epidemic 100%.
100%, because while you're helping these people make these life changes and get those results without really being aware of it, they're educating themselves and upskilling, and that's organically going to then get passed on to people around them. So it is such an important thing, because it's just madness that we live in a world that is so advanced in so many ways. We've got so much, resource at our fingertips, yet we have such a big problem. It's nuts. So definitely need to be, we need more people doing what you're doing, mate. We need more. There's probably no level of how much that can be done in this area.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what about with yourself? How do you keep yourself motivated with your own health and fitness routine and everything else? Do you have things that you do regularly? What keeps you driven to do that?
Yeah, for sure. So what I do is train 5 times a week at the gym. I used to run and train, but then when the kids came, those 2 sessions a day definitely dropped. And again, it's values. It's like, would I like to spend more time with my kids, or would I like to be training twice a day? So the running stopped, and the weight training. So I do resistance training 5 times a week. But the big key for me is the food that we eat as a family. So everything is home cooked, whole foods, high protein, of course, and everything is absolutely delicious. So you don't have to have chicken and broccoli on your plate. Else my little boy would be, what are you doing? Even though he does like chicken and broccoli. It is home cooked recipes that taste phenomenal. They smell amazing in the kitchen. And listen, my wife is the one that now cooks that. She is an amazing cook, an amazing wife, and all of us eat exactly the same meals. So that's what keeps me in the best shape I'd say that I've ever been in, since I realigned the values and my why. So the food is the biggest part of that. As we know, nutrition's 80% of the result. We've heard that, but the training for me is a non-negotiable. So I get up early and I train pretty much before sunrise every day, because that if I don't, I literally would not do it. So I take the hit with the early starts, but it sets me up for my day. It allows me to be more present. It allows me to work on everything that I'm working on as well.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's such a good point. And with the nutrition side of it, with how do you motivate or get your clients to make those changes when it's such a complicated thing? Like you're talking about going to the supermarket, 80% of the stuff in there is not going to be great for us. How do you get them to make those changes? Is it doing sort of what you were talking about, making those subtle steps at the beginning to ease them into it?
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, please click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram at NickBrax. I really appreciate your ongoing support.
Yeah, exactly that. So the first step is reviewing everything that they're eating. So I would get them to do a food diary, in order for me to have full scope on everything that they're consuming. So it's not to go, everything in there is bad, because there is nothing that is bad. We just introduce better over a long period of time. So
yeah,
once I've got full scope, from there I see how many calories they're eating, protein, carbs, fats, fiber, and we just start to make very, very small changes. So over weeks, 2 weeks, monthly, we make very, very small changes, keeping in a certain amount of calories. So calories, again, macro targets would be prescribed to them early, but the most important part is the macro targets are in alignment what they are currently eating, and then we slowly make those changes. And the best question is, do you feel ready for this change? Because in the past, this person may have yo-yoed 10 times throughout that 10-year period, because they did a challenge or they did a nutrition plan and they went absolutely all in, but that wasn't adapted and implemented into their lifestyle. So the most important part to everything that I do is getting them the results that they want, making the changes that are realistic with their lifestyle. So then in 6-12 months time, when they turn around, they're like, oh, wow, like, look, I'm in amazing shape. I'm feeling healthier. I'm looking better. Everyone else in my environment is a reflection of it as well. And also, this is now my lifestyle. This is now the food that I'm cooking. This is what I want to do. These are my non-negotiables. Rather than going, right, this is going to get you the best results in 8 weeks' time, just for the photos and just for the short-term satisfaction. And listen, people still get amazing results in short-term if they feel ready to do it, But the most important part is the sustainability of it. And of course, as we, with our clients, lose weight, lose fat, there is a lot of education around metabolic adaptation and the hormones that take place during a fat loss journey, such as leptin and ghrelin, which are the hunger hormones that rise and make people, or increase their hunger and make it more challenging for them on a fat loss journey, as well as that metabolism coming down. So in those coaching sessions in the online space, that's what we're educating. We're educating. This is what's happening to your body. Are you experiencing this? And most of the time it's like, yes. Have you experienced this for 10 years? Yes. This is how to change it. This is what we're going to do. So then it's specialized in everything that they want. So then not only do they achieve the results, they are able to keep those habits and routines that are able for their body and hormones to adapt to that as well over a long period of time.
Love it, mate. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing all of this. I'm sure our listeners will take so much out of it. I'm going to finish with the 5 closing questions, the same as last time. I can go and make a comparison and see if they've changed, but
Can't remember them.
yeah, good. I'm gonna go back after this and see how they compare. But anyway, first one is, what's your best childhood memory that comes to mind for you?
Ooh, I think I do remember this one actually, and no, and again, it's just because of the feeling that it provided. So it was a summer holiday. We would go to the caravan every single year, and it was when my mum and dad were together, and my brothers. So I would have been less than 8 years old. And we would all go and literally just have the best time. And it would obviously, you were in a caravan, so life would be very, very simple. But you had the ocean, your bikes, you had normal games that you would play. So the feeling from that memory when you've actually visualized it is the best feeling, because life was just so simple. And that's some of the stuff that we enjoy now. Like when me and my wife take the kids, it's not to a water park or a, amusement park or anything like that. It is literally to the beach, and we take games and we have the best time. And the kids are a reflection of that as well.
Simple things in life are always the best.
Yep. Invaluable.
What would you what would you say is the biggest burden on mental health in society at the moment?
I guess it goes back to the first point. It's the distraction that has been brought into the world, and those things are TV, it's phones, it's the news, it's everything that we're consumed by, it's social media. So yes, these things are great if we have awareness around it. And the biggest challenge is people do not have awareness. So they are very consumed by it, which without knowing will be causing them to be more distracted, consumed by comparison, and making them feel less than, which will then unfortunately make them make choices such as alcohol, gambling, gaming, procrastination, poor health choices. And it is a massive part of the distraction that has literally been fast forwarded onto this globe. So that, in my opinion, would be the biggest problem.
That's a big one. That's a very big one. What's your personal definition of happiness?
Ooh. Big question.
Big one for you.
Sorry about the pause. I want to give the amazing question the right answer. I would say it is the personal definition of your own happiness would be finding joy in the things that do make you happy, living in alignment with the goals that you actually desire in life. Because if you map out your goals, and this is goals in, yes, health and fitness, but it's also your career, it's also in a relationship, it's also as a father or a mother, writing down those goals. And if you are, or when you are making choices in alignment with those goals, that will determine your happiness. Because if you are healthier, you are happier, you are more energetic, you are more self-confident. If you are making choices towards your career, if you are being a better person in your relationship, or making the right choices to find your relationship, if you are becoming a better role model for your children and making those better choices, this will determine your own happiness. So the consistent aligned action towards the goals that you want will determine how happy you are.
I love it, mate. Very thoughtful answer there. It's great. I like it. Well, I've got two more. If you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that be?
Ooh. Don't be an idiot. No. It would be read all the personal development books on I guess personal professional development. So financial books, so how to be better with money and all of those ones. It would be personal development as in learning about yourself and who you are, like some childhood, some self-reflection, because I started that journey at 25 rather than 18. And since that journey, like, I'm the man that I am today, and I'm incredibly grateful for doing personal and professional development and learning what makes me tick, what's my values, what do I want in life, who's the man that I want to become. If I didn't do that, I actually don't know where I would be. So if I could do that at 18, I would be an absolute beast right now.
I'll give myself the same advice. It took me quite a while to, kick into gear. So, if we could start the process earlier.
For sure.
I like it. Well, final one, mate. What are you most proud of?
I'm proud of the father that I have become and the husband that I am. So the father that I choose to be for my children, because as I said, they do not do what you say, they do what you do. So if my children started to become the version of me that I am today, I would be incredibly proud of that. And I'm also, that's hitting in the heart. I'm also incredibly grateful for my wife, but also I'm so proud of the husband that I choose to be, because, rewind 10 years ago, which was before the age of 25, I was making some silly choices in life and relationships and all of those things. And if I continue to make those choices, I would not be with my wife today. So I am incredibly proud of the husband that I choose to be, which is deserving of my incredible wife and the children that I've got. So I'm proud of the man that I choose to be.
Beautiful answer, mate. Beautiful answer. And, obviously it's, so meaningful, which is so nice to see, from, like you're saying, it's pulled on your heartstrings when you answered that. So it's, obviously you've got a beautiful family, you've created this life, you show up in a certain way. And like you're saying, it's a choice. We all have to make these choices. And I think that's really important to remember. So love being able to chat to you again. Final thing, where can our listeners go if they want to learn more about you or look into your fitness service or anything else? Where can we send them?
Yeah, for sure. So Instagram is where I am most active. So that's _Elliot White. So I'm pretty sure if you just searched Elliot White, I'll be there. I am on Facebook as well. So if you don't have Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, and that's just Elliot White. So I hope that it's been valuable for your listeners. And if anyone does want to connect or ask any questions, I'd be happy and be of service, of course.
Beautiful. We'll have that in the show notes. And Elliot, thank you again for making the time, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Wonderful conversation. And Nick, you're the man. I really appreciate your, the man that you are.
Thank you, Elliot White, for joining me today and offering your insight. And thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and any suggestions of topics you'd like to hear about. Feel free to leave a comment or just send a DM. Your feedback is always appreciated. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram. It really makes a difference. Thank you so much.